Our guest didn't mean to start a hair care brand, so how did it end up on store shelves? Used by Lindsay Lohan, Lipa, and Nicole Kidman, with thousands following before it even launched. This is Flo, co-founder of Sisterwould, and this is the story of building a global brand by asking, why not?
I sold my car and I thought that would be enough to start a business.
How did you eventually knew that the product was ready to launch?
There's 2.2 billion people that suffer from blind and visual impairments, and only 15% of them can actually read Braille. We would contact the celebrity hairstylists on Instagram. Lindsay Lohan gave us her personal number to then ship out her products. I became a single mum. I didn't have any finances to start a business.
If you could text your day one founder one sentence. Quick thing before we get started, we have a lofty goal this year of hitting 1,000 subscribers in order to help more people build really great companies. So if you enjoy the content, learn something new, the best way to support us is by subscribing. Okay, let's get into it. Flo, welcome to Founders in Motion. Flo is the co-founder of Sisterwould, a hair care brand that gained thousands of followers pre-launch, used by A-list celebrities across the world like Lindsay Lohan, Dua Lipa, Nicole Kidman, to name a few. And we'll dive deeper into that. And you know what's crazy? They didn't even set out to build a hair care brand at first. Flo, I'm so excited to dive deeper into your story today. And before we just jump heads in with all the questions, can you briefly describe what Sisterwould is?
Thanks for having me here today, Thea. Sisterwood, we're a premium hair care brand. We're scientifically formulated with skincare ingredients for your hair and scalp, and we're also an inclusive beauty brand. So our products have Braille and a tactile imprinting system for the blind and visually impaired community. Everyone deserves to be seen and included.
That's a very beautiful introduction to
Thank
it.
you.
And we'll definitely dive deeper into all the aspects, so don't worry.
Okay.
So let's take it all the way back. How did the idea of a premium inclusive hair care brand come about? Was it always the vision?
So when I started on the journey, I used to formulate my own skincare for my dad's skin. He has psoriasis all over his body, and I loved looking at the benefits of ingredients and how to take care of the skin. I also have been in the beauty industry for 16 years, so I would do facials, hairstyling, and I loved everything beauty. And I wanted to create this new skincare, and I got my business partner, Rena, joined me on the venture. As we were discussing skincare, we figured that we also had hair care problems. And when I had researched about hair care and skincare, I was like, we should be treating our hair the same way we do the skin on our face. So the same way you take care of your skin, you're detoxing, exfoliating, removing buildup. We wanted multi-purpose product. Then Rena said to me, like, how about people that can't read packaging? Because our mums couldn't read the packaging on the bottles, and we'd ask them and they're like, yeah, they don't know which one's which in the shower. There's 2.2 billion people that suffer from blind and visual impairments, and only 15% of them can actually read Braille. So we included the Braille, but then we added our own tactile system of lines for shampoo and dots for conditioner on the packaging. And this made it more inclusive, so our mums could also differentiate between the two. Then we took it a step further by adding the sensory experience. So it was scalp care and hair care, and then the formula, texture, scent and tone helps blind and visually impaired people differentiate it further.
Oh my God, there's so many things to unpack from that.
It did, and it all just was like a build up. Like you start your idea, and then eventually something more and more gets added to it, and then your brand comes to life, and your vision comes to life, and your purpose comes to life. So it just starts off with one idea, but you keep growing as you're growing with a business. And even now we're still growing with a business, formulating new products and seeing what customers are concerned with their hair. Like as the business grows, trends change, and so it's always a journey.
Super awesome. With the hair care issue, like you experience it, your family member experience it, and your immediate circle experiences, but how do you think about like market demand? So how do you assess if this is like a burning need that the consumer needs, and there are no hair care brands that really address it. Like, how did you go about testing that?
We actually went to the shopping centres and looked at product. There's different shampoos and conditioners for all different hair types, but there was actually nothing to do with scalp care as well. When realising that our scalp and hair should be treated the same, that's where I used skincare ingredients and ideas and implemented that into hair care, because I've worked both in the hair industry, in the skin beauty space. So other competitors weren't doing that. And over the years, people are starting to, but it's still not where it needs to be with skin and hair. Yeah.
I love that. And for those listening, Flo so kindly brought me some samples of Sisterwood over, and I was just reading the packaging before we did this, and I was just saying that it's one of the first conditioner that I've ever seen recommend you to actually massage it into your scalp. That's really cool. And I totally understand the struggle of bleach hair, because I used to bleach my hair all different type of colors. I went blue, then blonde, and then all the sorts. The team spent a long time in production and in development. How did you eventually knew that the product was ready to launch?
We did have struggles with development, especially with packaging. We had one manufacturer do our bottles design, and we paid for the molds, and we got our bottles back and it just collapsed, and it didn't have any structure, and we're like, we can't use this. This is not going to do well. And we had to start all over again and scratch from the start and find someone new. So it is a bit of trial and error and testing the product and doing iterations. We had different beads in our shampoo that were melting away in formulation. So it wasn't actually creating that texture we wanted. And until we got everything that we wanted and tested it out and loved it in our hair, as well as getting the feedback from others, then we knew that the product was ready. So it did take 2.5 years, and it was a long journey, but we got there in the end, and we were able to launch. But even when we were launching, we were afraid to launch because we didn't feel ready to launch as well.
Oh, really?
And you don't realize when you're starting a business. I sold my car and I thought that'll be enough to start a business. But as you're going on, you're still investing, and there's new things that just pop up, and developing your website, doing the branding. We didn't know any of this when we started, and so we needed to launch just to be able to sell some product to continue getting the business started. And so just start, even if it's not 100%.
Nothing is ever 100%, right? Like, you will always, like, as a builder, company is your baby, and you want to make that like perfect, but like perfect is unachievable. You mentioned like some issues with manufacturing development. Like, I wanted to ask, like, as a starting brand, how did you think about finding the right manufacturer?
We wanted to be made in Australia. Didn't want to just get a product that was already invented, white label, put a brand. So we actually paid for research and development and own the IP of the product, so no one else actually has this formula. Cool. And it all started by literally looking at packaging and being like, oh, this is in this town. Let's Google a location that's in this town. And because by law, you have the addresses behind packaging. So that's how it kind of started, just by seeing what was in the market.
I love it. So scrappy.
And then just being like, is this how we start? I don't know. Let's just try. And my business partner, Rena, she's really good with LinkedIn. So her background's HR recruiting. So it was actually really hard to get in touch with people that would help formulate. And so we went on LinkedIn, and we actually got contacts off LinkedIn to get emails, and sometimes just replying on the website, you don't get through the door.
For sure. I love that, like alternative ways to get in contact with the right partners. I really wanted to talk about pricing briefly. So how did you figure out like how you were going to price your product?
So you first have to begin with what type of products are you creating? Are you doing FMCG? Are you trying to create a premium product? Are you trying to be in the middle? And when we first started, we didn't understand all this concept. And we learned all this stuff as we were going on. And our vision was like, we want to be in Sephora, we want to create a product that is amazing, and we're in Sephora. And so we wanted to create high quality products. And then we had to look at margins and see, is this going to be sustainable for business growth? And as we were learning and going into our business, right now, after 2.5 years being online, we've been able to grow and expand in the US and Australia. And this has enabled us to then reduce our price. So our price was $58, and now we have reduced it to $39, which is amazing because
That's a huge reduction too.
Yeah, we wanted to make it more accessible and inclusive with our mission and give back to the community. So this was something that we were aiming to do, and a lot of brands you see are putting up their prices especially in this day and age and time, and we're like, okay, we need to figure out how do we lower this price. We want to be able to be there for most people.
For sure.
So, visually impaired communities are able to access it in pharmacies, because if you're in only one sector, someone else might miss out. So we wanted to be able to, still be premium and high quality at an affordable price without compromising the formula, and having that same high quality, and being able to expand has given us that opportunity, which is amazing. And yeah.
I think that's so beautiful. I think one of my favorite things about Sisterwood is the kind of accessibility mission across different communities, but also, like you mentioned, trying to be at a affordable price, but also provide a very high quality product. And speaking of interests and building that relationship with retailers, so going deeper into that, I feel like getting that initial traction is probably one of the hardest things for a consumer brand. So what strategy did you use to acquire your first 100 purchases?
So when we were starting the journey, we already created our Instagram. Rena and I had our own social Instagrams as well. We had our community. I've been doing makeup for 16 years, so I used to create videos, and Rena used to be a beauty blogger as well in the US. And we used our platform to start growing that community and letting people know that we're developing something. We were even trying to keep it a bit secret. Ooh. And make it enticing and get people to follow along that journey, and put a post up and be like, something's coming soon. Wow. And then we did giveaways on our page. We got influencers to share their day in their life on our Sisterwood page. So once we thought of the name Sisterwood, we ended up starting all our socials and getting the website, and we did giveaways as well to grow. So we were trying to build our email list. Our website had a landing page. We tried to do that at the beginning, to then when we were able to launch, we weren't launching to crickets. We had a community and people waiting to purchase our products and try. So I think even if you don't have your product ready, because it does take so long, you can just start building your community.
Yeah. And what are some recommendations you have for someone that is trying to kind of drum up that initial interest, maybe even in a situation like you and Rena was, where there's no product yet? Like, how do you build an intentional community that will eventually align with your brand?
Yep. So we ended up DMing people that we knew as well. So at the start, we were really hustling.
Love that.
And Instagram would block you from messaging people. So we were spending every night, every day, just sending texts asking girls like, what are your hair concerns? And we really did put so much time and effort at the beginning. You really have to try whatever it is that you can, especially if it's not going to cost you anything and it's your time. You got to put that time in, and then that's sort of the first step.
So what were you DMing these girls? Like, hey, like, how is your hair these days? Like, what do you need in the market? Is that it?
So we were like, we're going to start a new beauty brand, skin and hair. What are your hair care concerns? What are your skincare concerns? Like, we're trying to not give it away too much, you know.
I wanted to talk a little bit more about, so you mentioned getting into these retailers marketplace. Like, obviously, congratulations on getting into Revolve in the States and then Chemist Warehouse in Australia, along other places. So how did opportunities working with these platforms come about?
Opportunity doesn't just come. You have to go and get that opportunity. And we reached out from the beginning. We'll reach out to retailers, even if we're just sharing our journey, having a meeting with them. So Revolve was one of our first partnerships, and that's been amazing. Rena's from the States, so she has a community there that we wanted to be able to make our products available in the States for them to purchase, because that's where all her family is. And it was, we were so excited when we got into Revolve because so many celebrities buy products there. And
I mean, even common people, like I shop at Revolve all the time when
all
I was
around
in
the world.
States.
So that was the first. And then when you get into one place, you're like, let's find more. Let's keep reaching out. We can do this. And from one opportunity, actually gives you that credibility on your business to then go into a different store or get into more places. As soon as I tell someone, have you heard of my brand? And then they would have not heard about it before. I'm like, oh, we're in Chemist Warehouse. And then straight away they'll like, let me see. So it does help getting out there. When we started, we were direct to our consumers, but then we realized we should be getting into businesses as well, and having that retail presence really helps grow the brand and the business.
I have to ask. So Lindsay Lohan, Dua Lipa, and Nicole Kidman, they've all used your product. So how did that happen?
Me and Rena are crazy. We try everything. We would contact like the celebrity hairstylists on Instagram, or we'll message their agency. And actually Lindsay Lohan gave us her personal number to then ship out her products. So
that's crazy.
And that's just being authentic, writing a nice message, talking about who you are and what your brand is. And then we never thought that those opportunities will just come about, but it's been incredible to see these celebrities love our products and say that they loved our products.
I need to know. So you go on like Lindsay Lohan's page, right? And then you like see that she's tagged a stylist. And then you go to the stylist page. You stalk the stylist. And then do you just like cold DM the stylist?
You try DMing them. You see if they've got an email. And then they'll say, yeah, send us a product. And you know, if they love it, then they'll use it on their celebrity if the hairstylist likes it. So the hairstylist is the professional that knows what's good for the hair.
You got the stamp of approval, you know. And then did the celebrities post about it?
Some did, and some haven't, but that's fine too, because you're still excited that they've tried it, and we keep sending it to people. We hope that someone shares our brand one day and supports our business and likes it. But in this day and age, everything is like marketing expense. You know, influencers are very expensive, or even celebrities. And
they've gotten a lot more expensive over time.
Yeah.
I just can't believe you have Lindsay Lohan's personal number. Sorry. I'm like so...
I don't even know if I'm allowed to disclose that, but too late.
It's okay. It's not like we're going to text her, so it's fine. But That's still crazy to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best messages are not like a reels or post about your product. It's about like just that personal DM that they're like, hey, like, love your mission, love your product, love what you're doing. And those are kind of the small motivators that get you through the hums of the everyday.
Just getting that feedback
Yeah.
makes you get happy, emotional, excited, and it's actually what keeps us going, because it's actually so difficult to start and launch a business, but it's actually rewarding at the same time. Being a mum and growing a baby and growing a business, it's like the same thing.
I always say that like your business is your baby, but I've never really experienced it. So now we have the credibility of someone that's been there to say that. And who would be your dream celebrity caught using Sisterwood?
My dream celebrity would actually be Huda Beauty. I see she has curly hair like me, and I'm like, this will be so amazing on her hair. And she has such a big community of women, and the things that she does with her Huda hotline, and it's like what I do as well with my personal page. I'm always trying to inspire women and not just, have a business. I actually want it to be purposeful and give back. And I see Huda doing that all the time. And I would love for her to try products.
I love that. And Huda has a really great founder story as well. Like she started from truly zero, and now Huda Beauty is probably one of the biggest beauty brands in the world. Throughout this entire journey, through development, through launching, was there ever like an moment? This could really break the business.
It was COVID, pandemic. There was so much fear in starting a business, and our bottles like were collapsing and I was like, am I meant to start this? It's always like solving a problem and thinking of a solution that will help us get through that stage.
The starting journey is always the hardest. So really like persisting through that drought is such a big hurdle for a lot of founders to overcome.
I actually messaged Rena last night telling her how just we're getting organic sales and there's no ads going out there, and people are purchasing and repurchasing, and I'm like, we've hit a milestone. And we just try to celebrate the wins along the way, and remember how far we've come, because you do get lost in the journey and you forget how much you have, how far you've come.
Like there's so many things to do in the moment and so many things to progress, but you forget to be like, hey, like a year ago, this is who I was, but now you're in a completely different headspace, you're dealing with other issues, and you're like, wow, like a year ago, I can't believe I was stressed about that, because it ended up working out either way.
Yeah.
And I think it's not just a lesson for building a business, but it's just a lesson in life in general, to sometimes look back and be appreciative of everything that you've been through.
Yeah, and being grateful along the way.
Yeah. And what would you say is the most valuable lesson that you've learned as a founder? Something you wish someone had told you earlier?
I think at the beginning, I didn't know about podcasts. I didn't know about founding stories, and being able to listen to a podcast like this and get insights into a business. I wish someone told me that before I started a business. So we were just learning along the way, and then we started to listen to more founder stories and join communities. Doing a course, you go join another community and networking, and Rena and I would actually get mentoring. So that really helped, getting someone to mentor you in the journey before you start, or even while you're going through it. So we would reach out to other big beauty brands and one was Tara from Mermaid Hair. Even though she was a competitor, she still gave us advice, helped us along the way. So don't be afraid to reach out, ask questions, go and join other women that are doing the same thing, or people, and be a part of communities. I think if I had that support before we started, it would have made a big impact on getting to where we wanted to be a lot quicker, making less mistakes. But it's still rewarding because now I can help others back by sharing that journey. So
yeah, and I think, oh my God, that's such a subtle plug, because I think one of the reasons why we try to build Founders in Motion is because getting the lessons in advance of building, or like while you're in the process of it, can really expedite your timeline, or stops you from making like fatal mistakes to your business. If you could text your day one founder one sentence, what would it be?
Does she know who I am?
Yes,
now?
she knows that you're like flow of the future.
I would tell her that I'm really proud of you and don't be scared and keep going.
Do you think you're in a place that you would have never dreamed of maybe like 3-4 years ago when you started?
I'm definitely in a place that I would have never dreamed of.
Yeah.
You know, I became a single mum. I didn't have any finances to start a business. I didn't know how I was going to take care of my boys. And my vision of doing that was, okay, I need to start a business. I felt like I had no choice but to take this path. I used to help people every day with their skin concerns, make them feel good, just so that they knew that that they're beautiful inside and out. And I'm like, how do I do this worldwide? How do I create a brand? So it's not just about creating this brand of Sisterwood. So we're Sisterwood. We would be there for others, just like a sister would be. I thought if I didn't do it, then I'll get old one day and I'll be like, I never tried and I never did what I was passionate about. My background was accounting, so it was.
Oh wow!
I started off with accounting, and I missed art and did a makeup course, and I just found that was my passion.
You found a true calling.
It doesn't matter to me if the business fails or succeeds. It's more every step of the way, like how it's impacting someone's life, and you know, when you're washing your hair and it smells good, it helps you feel good in your brain.
I think this idea of being purposeful really resonates in this day and age, because I think consumers can really see like what a brand stands for. And I think as a consumer, you're always looking to support people. You're trying to support stories, not just a singular product or like a SKU. And I do sense so much of that from your story, Flo, about how you started and how you're going, and like all the little struggles and all the like chaos moments that you did at the beginning to kind of drum up the initial interest. And I mean, thank you for your time and coming on Founders in Motion, and I loved our conversation.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it so much.
That's a wrap. If you like this episode, please hit the subscribe button. It helps us bring on more awesome guests, level up production, and drop new series you'll want to watch. See you in 2 weeks.